Dear ladies and gentlemen, what a pleasure it is for me to address you, the Croatian Pan-European Union, on the subject of the Conference on the Future of Europe. We have collaborated on many projects together already. In my current role as Vice President in the European Commission for Democracy and Demography, I count on you as one of our partners, in particular in the upcoming Conference on the Future of Europe. The Croatian Pan-European Union, with its efficient organizational capacities and networks, and the key role it plays in the international Pan-European Union, is strategically placed to reach many citizens where it is not always possible for us to do so. My objective from day one in my current role is to invest all my energy in citizen engagement, deliberation, and participation at all levels of policy making. I have been conducting multiple citizens' dialogues across the European Union over the last year. It is only through direct engagement and deliberation that we can successfully and constructively go through the green and digital transitions. This is important for our democracy because these days it is having a hard time. People feel left behind. What do they blame? They blame democracy itself. But democracy is still the best invention. However, we need to improve ways to respond to citizens' needs. Our representative democracy works well, but it's not without fault. Now it's time to bring citizens into the heart of policy making with the concrete power to drive systematic change. Politics is no longer business as usual. My task is to strengthen the links between people and the democratic institutions that serve them, to narrow the gap between expectations and reality. Our society has changed. Our work in demography shows this. We therefore need new thinking. We cannot solve new problems with outdated ways of looking at the world. The Conference on the Future of Europe is a sign of new thinking at the European level. It complements representative democracy and can increase trust in our democratic institutions. Through the conference, we will listen to Europeans and learn more about the issues close to their heart. Everyone will be able to feed their views into policy making at the heart of our European Union. This should contribute to making our democracy more responsive. I know some of you have questions about the current status of the conference and the role you can play in it. To be clear, the conference is not about one particular personality, institution, region, or member state. The conference belongs to all of us, to citizens, to businesses, to civil society, youth organizations, decision makers, and of course to the Croatian Pan-European Union. We need to strengthen our representative democracy by offering an opportunity for our enhanced deliberative democracy. Now is the right time to put innovative tools, like the Conference on the Future of Europe, to work for both democracy and the citizens. That is one of the lessons learned from the pandemic. Only by closely involving our citizens can we move on from this crisis. This process on the conference must be guided by the principles of inclusiveness and openness. It is of fundamental importance that all citizens are included. We will not leave anyone behind. I want to engage with those who do not usually engage with us. Using a mixture of physical, online, and hybrid events, everyone will have the possibility to participate in an interactive way, including via a multilingual digital platform designed to be a one-stop shop for all information relating to the conference. Prior to COVID-19, I was on a listening tour of the European Union. Having already held many dialogues with citizens, I am convinced that issues such as healthcare and the European response to the public health crisis will now have a more prominent role in the dialogues among citizens during the conference. This was underlined by President von der Leyen in her recent State of the Union address. Citizens must know that their voices are heard and see the impact that their input can have on policy making in the European Union. This will be our benchmark for success. Most of all, I believe that predetermining the outcome would cause more damage to democracy than if we did nothing at all. Citizens' trust in democracy cannot and should not be taken for granted. I have been an elected representative at local, national, and European level, so I know what I'm talking about. Dear ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get creative about innovative political participation. The Conference on the Future of Europe should give us a clear indication of the key concerns of European citizens. As I said earlier, I'm convinced that many issues will be linked to the health, but I think they will also link to the demographic challenges we are all facing. If that is confirmed, we can translate our policy making into concrete, fair action to achieve the twin priorities of the green and digital transitions. The Conference on the Future of Europe is an opportunity to reconnect with citizens beyond elections and help to establish trust, reinforce solidarity. So let's get citizens on board and work together to build the society we want now and in the future. Let's build up our democratic immunity and inject our democracy with citizen engagement and deliberation from the ground up. We succeed in this together. I include you too, the Croatian Pan-European Union. Hvala vam lijepa.
Bonjour, Madame and Monsieur. It is a privilege for me to join the discussions of the Pan-European Union of France. You are a vital partner in our reflections as we forge a path for the European Union of today and tomorrow. The challenges and opportunities on the road ahead are numerous and varied. To adequately address them, a broad policy discussion and reflection is required. I say this as European Commission Vice President for Democracy and Demography, because both these topics touch the very heart of people's lives. In a real and deep way, across all generations, there is no doubt that a number of societal, economic and environmental transformations lie ahead of us. We are confronted with democratic challenges both within the European Union and globally. In addition, we are facing significant demographic challenges from aging to long-term care to depopulation and brain drain. In my work, I focus on the whole life cycle, from the rights of children to those of older people. It is important to maintain a balanced approach in all aspects of our policy making, especially given what we are going through with the current pandemic. We are developing a new European strategy on care, including long-term care and the revision of the Barcelona targets for early childhood education and care. We see profound demographic imbalances between high and low-income countries in the coming decades. In the European Union, low fertility rates will affect the rapid aging of the population and the shrinking of the labor force. Low-income countries with the high fertility levels will experience an expanding population with a high share of young adults. These demographic trends have direct consequences for economic growth, the sustainability of the Union's social protection systems, the demand for goods and services, as well as health and elderly care. We will need to be visionary and creative to ensure that we can maintain our geopolitical and economic weight in the world. This requires looking at how aging brings both challenges and opportunities. When it comes to aging and depopulation, rural areas in particular face a number of challenges. The rural population is significantly older than the urban, and the working age population of rural areas is shrinking. The limited access to essential services for health and education, coupled with the low level of digitalization, are leading to brain drain. We see how the trend of brain drain is happening, because the best and the brightest are the ones most likely to leave. And in-depth reflection is required on the policy options available to address such challenges. As the relative weight of Europe's individual nation changes, the need for the European Union to deploy its collective assets becomes all the more important. The European Union's share of the world population is diminishing. In 1960, the EU 27 population stood at 12%. Today, it's around 6% and projected to fall to 4% by 2070. Africa's share in the world population is projected to rise from 9% to 32%, while Asia will likely decrease. This demographic information is necessary when reflecting on the future. We now have a window of time during which we can consider how to best integrate demographic change as a necessary and vital component in policy design. I believe this is necessary to ensure a smooth macroeconomic adjustment towards a society with an older population, leaving no one behind. The Commission's Strategic Foresight report identifies key global megatrends. It emphasizes the growing pressure on democracy and values and the shifts in the global order and demography. These new global challenges call for more resilient, innovative and agile institutions to cope with the new challenges and deliver results for citizens. But what would those innovative institutions look like? How would they interact with each other, with the other levels of governance and most importantly with the citizens? Participatory, deliberative and inclusive governance combined with harnessing new technologies can help enhance trust and legitimacy. Deliberative democracy actually reinforces representative democracy by maintaining engagement with citizens beyond and between elections. Deliberative practices yield better policy outcomes because deliberation leads to considered public judgments rather than public opinions. Deliberative practices enhance public trust by giving citizens an effective role in public decision-making. People are more likely to trust a decision that has been influenced by ordinary people than one made solely by government. These inclusive processes help policymakers to understand better public priorities as well as the values and reasons behind them. Europeans are showing a renewed interest in political engagement to make their voices heard and to shape the society they live in. This is evident from the first two sets of recommendations emerging from the European citizens' panels, as well as the ideas being shared on the multilingual digital platform of the Conference on the Future of Europe. We need more of these organized processes to ensure ownership of the European project by all European citizens. In light of the demographic trends I have mentioned, it is essential that we foster understanding, solidarity and responsibility, but also knowledge sharing between generations. By building a constructive narrative around demographic change, by having the courage to engage directly and deeply with our citizens, we are reinforcing our economies, our society and our democracy, making them fit for the future. Thank you.